Hi guys and welcome to Crazy Pepper Revenge. This channel is all about crazy true stories, stuff that happens in real life when things get a little bit messy, people dealing with drama, cheating, lies, breakups, and even revenge. Some stories are wild, some are emotional, but all of them will keep you watching. If you like real talk and real situations, you're in the right place. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and stick around. This is Crazy Pepper Revenge, where the stories get spicy. I never fit in with my wife Tracy's family. Standing on Marissa's pool deck in my wrinkled work clothes and steel-toed boots, I felt completely out of place among their designer sandals and country club catalog looks. The concrete was slick from earlier rain, and I kept shuffling toward the background like I always did at these family gatherings. Everyone else looked like they'd stepped out of some wealthy lifestyle magazine, while I still smelled like the warehouse from my double shift. Tracy was across the yard, laughing with her perfect white teeth, clutching some fancy cocktail that probably cost more than I made in a day. She looked right at home with her people, the golden children, all three of them with their perfect lives and perfect problems. I should have stayed home, but you don't say no to the Hendersons when they're throwing a party, not if you want to keep the peace. The party was in full swing around me. Kids splashing in the pool, adults networking over wine and cheese with names I couldn't pronounce. I recognized most faces from previous gatherings, but recognition doesn't equal belonging. These people knew exactly what I was. Tracy's blue-collar husband who didn't quite fit their mold. I was minding my own business, watching the water ripple in the pool and thinking about overtime to pay the electric bill when I saw him coming. Brent, with that swagger that screamed privilege from 50 yards away. He had that look in his eyes, the same one he'd had since the day I married his sister. That look that said he was about to have some fun, and I was going to be the entertainment. Everett. His voice cut through the party chatter like a knife. There's my favorite brother-in-law. You know what this party needs? Some excitement. Some real fun. I could feel eyes on us already, other guests sensing something was about to happen, turning to watch like we were the main event. This was how it always went with Brent. He needed an audience for his games, and I was always his favorite target. "Come on, Everett," he called loud enough for everyone to hear. "Let's show these people some real fun." I took a step back, my boots scraping against the wet concrete. "I'm good, man, really. Just enjoying the party." But Brent wasn't taking no for an answer. He never did. That's when I felt his hand clamp down on my arm. Not friendly, not playful, but possessive, like I was his property to do with as he pleased. "No, no, no," I said, trying to keep my voice calm, trying not to make a scene. "Brent, I'm in my work clothes, man. I don't want to—" "Don't be such a buzzkill," Tracy's voice cut through my protests like she was scolding a child. She didn't even look up from her conversation, just waved her hand dismissively. "It's Marissa's day, Everett. Stop being so damn dramatic." Dramatic. That was always her word for me when I tried to set boundaries, when I didn't want to be the butt of their jokes or the target of their games. "Seriously, Everett," Marissa chimed in from across the deck, her voice sharp with irritation. "Can you just go along with something for once? This is supposed to be my special day." The crowd was watching now, all of them waiting to see what would happen next, waiting to see if I'd be a good sport or if I'd ruin the party with my drama. The pressure was suffocating, but it was familiar too. This was how it always went in Tracy's family. You played along with their games or you were the problem. Brent's grip tightened on my arm. "See? Even the birthday girl wants you to have some fun. Come on, little brother." Little brother. I was 34 years old, but to Brent I'd always be the little brother who needed to be put in his place, the outsider who needed reminding of where he stood in the family hierarchy. "Brent, please!" I tried one more time, but my voice was drowned out by his laughter and encouraging calls from the crowd. Someone shouted, "Do it!" Someone else was already pulling out their phone to record whatever was about to happen. That's when Brent spun me hard, like I was a toy. The world tilted sideways and I felt my feet leave the ground. For a split second, I was airborne, completely at the mercy of momentum and gravity and Brent's idea of entertainment. I wasn't a child. I was a grown man with responsibilities and bills and a bad back from years of warehouse work. But in that moment, spinning through the air with laughter filling my ears, I felt as helpless as a kid being bullied. The edge of the pool was right behind me. I could see the concrete steps rushing toward me as I spun. Hard, unforgiving concrete that didn't care about birthday parties or family dynamics. This was supposed to be just a joke, right? Just Brent being Brent. Just family fun that I'd laugh about later. But as I felt myself falling backward toward those steps, I knew this wasn't going to be funny at all. The sound when I hit those steps wasn't a thud or splash. It was a crack. A sharp, definitive crack that echoed across the entire yard like a gunshot. The pain was immediate and absolute, radiating from my lower back like lightning. I tried to suck in air, but my lungs had forgotten how to work. I was lying there, half in the pool, half out, my work shirt soaked through, but I couldn't feel anything below my waist. Nothing, like someone had erased the bottom half of my body. "Walk it off, Everett." Tracy's voice cut through the haze of pain and shock. "You're embarrassing us. Don't be such a baby." A baby? I couldn't feel my legs, couldn't breathe properly. And she was calling me a baby in front of all her friends and family. "Of course," Marissa's voice joined in, dripping with frustration. "Of course he pulls this drama on my birthday. My one special day, and he has to make it all about him." I tried to speak, tried to tell them something was really wrong, but my voice came out as barely a whisper. "I can't move my legs." The words hung in the air, but nobody seemed to hear them over their complaints about their ruined party. But then, everything changed when Samantha, one of Marissa's friends, suddenly appeared beside me. While everyone else was bitching and moaning, she was actually looking at me, really looking, with focused attention. "Hey," she said, her voice calm but urgent as she knelt next to me. "Can you hear me? I need you to try something for me, okay?" Her hands moved over my legs, checking for something. "Can you feel this?" She pressed down on my shin, then my thigh, then my ankle. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. "Can you wiggle your toes for me?" I tried. God, I tried so hard. I stared down at my feet, willing them to move, concentrating every ounce of energy I had left, but it was like sending signals to a phone that had been disconnected. Samantha's face went white. Not pale. White. The color drained from her cheeks so fast it was like watching someone pull the plug on a bathtub. "Nobody touch him," she said, her voice suddenly carrying authority that made everyone stop. "Nobody move him at all. This could be spinal. This could be really, really bad." The laughter died. Finally, blessedly, the laughter died. "What's wrong with him?" Tracy's voice had changed now, less irritated and more worried. "I'm a paramedic," Samantha said, already pulling out her phone. "You just threw a grown man backward into concrete steps. He can't feel his legs. This is not horseplay. This is a medical emergency." The ambulance arrived with sirens and flashing lights, turning our suburban pool party into a crime scene. Officer Riley appeared first, scanning the scene with sharp cop eyes that missed nothing. Paramedic Cassidy knelt beside me with practiced efficiency. "What happened here?" she asked. This was the moment of truth. I could feel everyone's eyes on me. Tracy, Brent, Marissa, all the party guests who'd been laughing minutes ago. They were waiting to see what story I'd tell, probably hoping I'd downplay it, make it sound like an accident, keep the peace like I always did. But lying there on those concrete steps, unable to feel half my body, something had shifted inside me. Maybe it was finally having someone who was actually listening instead of telling me to walk it off. "Brent picked me up and threw me," I said, the words coming out clearer than I'd expected. "I told him no. I told him I didn't want to do it. He grabbed me anyway, spun me around and threw me backward into these steps. I can't move my legs." The silence that followed was deafening. This wasn't the story they wanted me to tell. This wasn't me being a good sport about their family fun. At the hospital, Dr. Warren delivered news that changed everything. The MRI revealed not just a fresh fracture at L2, but 3 older fractures throughout my spine. "These are old injuries, Everett," she explained gently. "All show signs of repeated blunt force trauma over several years." Suddenly, memories flooded back. The trampoline incident where Brent had wrestled me off the edge and I'd hit the metal frame. The stairs at Thanksgiving where he'd accidentally bumped me from behind, sending me tumbling down concrete steps. The pool party where he'd held me underwater as a joke until I nearly passed out. Every time there was an excuse. Every time it was just Brent being Brent. Every time I was the one being too sensitive, too dramatic. All of these fractures show signs of repeated blunt force trauma, Dr. Patterson added. They're in different stages of healing, suggesting they occurred at different times over an extended period. My spine had been keeping score this whole time. Every shove, every throw, every accident that wasn't really an accident. It was all documented in bone and tissue like a medical rap sheet. Detective Ford showed me the party video that night. Watching myself being spun and thrown like a rag doll while everyone laughed was devastating. You could see how helpless I looked, how completely at Brent's mercy. The way he threw me wasn't playful. It was violent, deliberate. "What do you see when you watch this, Everett?" she asked. "I see attack," I said, surprised by how steady my voice sounded. "I see my brother-in-law attacking me while my wife stood by and let it happen. That's exactly what I see too." Based on the evidence, we're filing charges against Brent for attack with bodily harm. Given the pattern of old injuries, we're also looking at aggravated attack. When Tracy found out about Brent's arrest, she stormed into my hospital room furious. Not about my injuries, but about the family embarrassment. "Do you have any idea what you've done?" she hissed. "They arrested my brother. They put him in handcuffs in front of the neighbors." "The doctors found 3 other fractures in my spine," I said, trying to stay calm. "Old ones, Tracy. From all those other times your brother played with me. This isn't about one incident. This is about years of misuse that you helped cover up." "Misuse? You're calling normal family roughhousing misuse now? No wonder you can't handle a real job or make real friends. You're too busy playing the sufferer." The trial was brutal but vindicating. My spine told its story in black and white medical images. The prosecutor methodically laid out years of accidents for what they really were. Systematic misuse enabled by family denial. The video footage was devastating. You could see the deliberate force Brent used, hear his laughter, watch my terror. When I testified, something clicked. These people deserve to hear the truth. "Brent didn't just hurt me that day at the pool," I said, my voice steady and clear. "He'd been hurting me for years, and my wife's family had been teaching me that it was my fault for not being tough enough to take it." The jury deliberated for less than 3 hours. Guilty on all counts. Judge Monroe's words echoed through the courtroom. "Mr. Henderson, you have shown a pattern of violence spanning several years. Your actions were deliberate, calculated, and resulted in serious bodily harm. This court sentences you to 5 years in state prison." 18 months later, I'm standing in my own kitchen, making coffee in my own apartment. The place isn't much, a 1-bedroom with hardwood floors that creak when I walk. But it's mine. Nobody here tells me I'm being dramatic when I need to rest my back. The limp is permanent. Some days it's barely noticeable, other days I need the cane. But I'm walking. Against all odds, against the initial prognosis that had me preparing for life in a wheelchair, I'm walking on my own 2 feet. I work at the Metro Men's Outreach Center now, helping other misuse survivors recognize that their pain matters. There are a lot of guys out there who've been told their suffering doesn't count, who've been convinced that speaking up makes them weak. I keep those MRI scans framed on my wall. I know it sounds weird, but those black and white images aren't just medical records. They're proof. Proof that I wasn't making it up, wasn't being dramatic, wasn't weak for not fighting back. Every crack in those vertebrae is documentation of survival. Sometimes people ask if I'm angry about the years I lost, the pain I endured, the family that threw me away rather than acknowledge what they'd done. The honest answer is that some days I am angry, but mostly I'm just grateful. Grateful that Samantha knew what she was looking at when I couldn't move my legs. Grateful that Dr. Warren could read the story my spine was telling. Grateful that Detective Ford believed me when I finally found courage to speak up. I was told to walk it off, to stop being a baby, to quit making everything about me. Now I walk on my own terms, at my own pace, toward a future I'm building for myself. Every step I take is proof that they were wrong about me. My spine may have been broken, but my voice is whole now, and that makes all the difference.